Hey, welcome back to Two Super Guys Trade Stocks. I'm Dylan,
And I'm Vinny.
and this is gonna be a very quick video. We're just gonna look at the moves that Buffett has been making and how he's broken a streak for the last 6 years that is very very important and has actually been fairly accurate the last three crashes. Not saying we're gonna crash, but this is actually pretty interesting. So, this is an article that's been going around because there's 13F, but some other things have happened recently. But essentially, the highlights: he sold a buttload of Apple. That is the scientific term. A lot. On top of that, he has not repurchased any stock in the third quarter, breaking a 6 year streak during which Buffett allocated $78 billion to buybacks. All right. He usually only does this if, obviously, he loves his own stock. He only doesn't buy it back if it's overvalued or if he considers it overvalued. So we have net selling. So he's a net seller during the third quarter. I mean, Buffett and his fellow investors sold 127 billion year to date, the most aggressive selling behavior in company history. He offloaded a bunch of Apple. He's not buying his own stock using buybacks, and he sold more ever. Okay, this cash, this is more justified on a graph, which I'm going to show you because this is a cool graph. Um, I just want to put here, I don't put a lot of weight into the Buffett indicator. Okay. Vinny knows why. It's once you start doing international business, it kind of throws off when it's a ratio to GDP. It's not
Yeah.
the most accurate thing. It was
It,
accurate in the 80s.
yeah, exactly. And you certainly draw a trend over time of increasing market participation and therefore, justifying higher and higher PEs for companies. Like
Yeah.
I get that completely. But I understand his Apple position too, because I actually trimmed back significantly. I sold like 80% of my Apple stock too over the last 6 months because when you're looking at a company that's growing in like the mid single digits and their PEs in the 30s, like that doesn't jive with me.
It's
I love
too high.
Apple, but it just seems like it's got a little bit ahead of itself there, and I'm not willing to continue owning it at that price.
Right. Makes sense. So, Vinny and Buffett, essentially the same person. Um, so obviously, if you just look, this is 2008, this is 2000. These are the Buffett indicators. Let me do so you can see my mouse. All right. Now look at where we're at here. Oh boy, look at this peak in November 2021. Let's zoom in on that. That is here. Wait, what is this? There we go. Yeah, that is here, and we have actually surpassed it. So we are the highest the Buffett indicator has ever been. Once again, caveat: there are some flaws with this indicator, but when we were last here, the previous high this has ever been, that is this red line. Now, I don't want to be the grim guy that's always saying there's a crash. I have a hard time buying any stocks right now other than Google and trying to buy Meta if it comes down. Those are really the only two I'm looking at. Um, I mean, this is a little bit scary. The fact that you have arguably the smartest investor in history also refusing to buy anything and doing this. This is his cash on hand. This is
Well,
going. This is gross.
in fairness, when the cash on hand is earning what, like 4.5%
Yeah,
in treasury
true.
bonds, kind of hard to argue with holding $300 billion in
Yeah.
cash.
Look at that. Oh my God. It's disgusting. Um, this is his 13F. His is boring. Obviously, there's not a lot of change for most of it. So this is just the ones that have changed. But you can see this is that scientific term, button, all the way down. And yeah, honestly, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next 3 or 4 months with unemployment rate. It would be interesting to see if he actually buys something to see if he switches his state of mind. But to me, that all of that speaks volumes. So, I don't
Yeah.
know what's going to happen. It looks like this is not going to be a great 2025. On top of this, which I'm going to look into because this is my biggest trade for 2025 that I'm looking at, is regional banks who own way too much commercial real estate. I think there's going to be a huge problem in 2025 because there's a lot of loans coming to maturity. So,
Yeah. And we have the massive uncertainty of tariffs on who from who and for
yeah,
what. And
I don't.
so like there's a lot to be figured out here. And so I can't say I blame him for holding a lot of cash in the sidelines right now.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let us know what you think.
Guys, the next one.